Good afternoon. It's Media Center Ukraine, Odesa, and we're starting our work. And just 6 months ago, there was started an initiative to collect the information on one resource for those who are helping the armed forces of Ukraine. And we can summarize the work for the last 6 months together with our guests who came to our Media Center Ukraine, namely Oleksandr Babich, volunteer, project manager of the Volunteer Handbook, also volunteers and the experts of the project, Yakuba and Stanislav Borodashkin. Thank you very much for being with us today. And I would like to start with the head of the project, Oleksandr Babich. So please share with us your results for these 6 months. You see, we have some results and progress that we are satisfied with. We have 150 articles in 9 areas of volunteer activities. So we have some segmentation here. We have 30,000 views on YouTube, and we have more than 60,000 visits. And we have quite an interesting feedback, because as soon as the resource was launched, people started contacting us, and it was very interesting to receive feedback from the military. And also they provided us their recommendations. And what we liked is that we had no major errors. We just received additional information from the military. Then we volunteers just thanked us, because they said us that finally they were able to see the resource in terms of finding real information and what and where can be bought. So I have not calculated these types of feedbacks, and the resource has been fully translated into the second language. So we have 2 languages, Ukrainian and English, because we were also focused on our partners working abroad. And we also had a very important thing. We blocked the possibility to visit our resource for users from Russia, Belarus, Syria, Iran. So all countries who support Russian aggression cannot get any useful information there. You mentioned that there are a lot of requests, you have a lot of users of your resource. And what about geography? Have you tried to see where it is the most popular? When it comes to Ukraine, there is the equal share for all regions of Ukraine. And we understand that such volunteering is seen in every region of our country, even if they are not occupied. As for other Ukraines, we have a lot of visits from Poland, Germany, France, the United States, Canada. There are also people from Australia and New Zealand. So we have such like remote territories, but our people are there, or those people who try to support Ukraine. And it is interesting now to hear the details from your colleagues, how the information was collected, how much time did it take, and how do you receive information at the moment. Stanislav, the floor is yours. When it comes to website content and video, so we just volunteered to gather all information for 1 year, and also there were different courses for TechMed, because during the first months of the full-scale invasion, everything was in chaos, and we see such cases when everything was put in the first aid kit, and of course that was good back then. But then in several weeks I understood that I had to undergo training to understand what should be precisely put to the to the first aid kit, not just any painkillers, etc. And we cannot even compare this first aid kit with the first aid kit for drivers. And when in 1 year we understood that there are still some people who do not understand the specifics of the military first aid kit, and for example, just a woman, once a woman referred to us, and she told us that she bought a first aid kit in a drugstore, and the son said that it was not what he needed, and she was just in tears coming to us asking for our help. And actually, the information that we provide helps to save a lot of time and money. And for example, people see a volunteer as a person drinking tea somewhere at a warehouse, and sometimes people refer to volunteers asking for something. But actually, you work 24/7 when a friend can call from Switzerland saying that her husband is now in the armed forces looking for a jacket. And the same is for the medication. And still, there is a room for improvement. And I personally will be calm when every Ukrainian watches the video about TechMed. When I see 30 million views from Ukrainians, then I will be relieved. Then I would understand that Ukrainians at least know how they can help us with the tourniquets, etc. So we keep sharing these videos with everyone and explaining why made in China is not good. Have foreign manufacturers contacted you asking to publish information about their products on the website? We have several cases when the producers refer to us asking for cooperation. Our usual answer is the following. We say that if they provide quality product, then we are ready to recommend it and no payment is needed. So this is not an ad. When it comes to tourniquets, Dnipro or Sich, now there are no questions to those Ukrainian-made tourniquets, and we can recommend them as one of the best examples of Generation 7. Then we don't need to get any money for them because we are interested in development at your manufacturer facilities to produce as many tourniquets to our military as possible. Yes, there were some people asking us for the ads, but this project is not about money. And if we know that this is a bad quality product, the information will be never posted on our website. So the full-scale invasion started more than a year and a half. Do you see any changes in terms of new ammunition, new equipment? Do you add information to the assortment at your website? And what about proposals, recommendations from the military? Dennis, the question is to you. When we provided information about specific items or brands within the project, and of course, we just used the experience of the military. And I personally took information directly from the military, asked them about pros and cons on different items. And the project is not only about ammunition and about equipment. The project covers all important items. The project is flexible, and there is a constant progress. So if we see something new that can improve each group, and if there is some information to it, of course, we are ready to do this. Because when it comes to the dynamics of the big war, every month, we can see new tools emerging on our side and on the enemy's side, which are used in this war. And the volunteer movement, civilians, should also be flexible. They should to understand all the novelties in this war and to be involved in this war as the home front. And Stanislav says that this resource thanks to save time and money. And I know there are a lot of cases when someone is mobilized from a family and relatives, they start collecting everything which is needed and which is not needed. And then it is turned out that the army provides everything which is needed to their relative. Yes, and this is also one of the reasons for the project to exist. For people who do not understand anything in ammunition or equipment, etc., they can visit the website and they can see which is needed to an ordinary fighter. Because the situations are different. Sometimes not everything is provided to a soldier. And people can find information on our website where the missing items can be bought and what should be bought. And this is one of the reasons for our project. I would also like to add that when the year before the launching the resource, we had the year of experience of active volunteer activity 24/7, and we learned the lessons. We knew what the typical mistakes were, and when a person refers to us, and we know that he is now in a training unit, but he is concerned because not everything was provided to him. He starts contacting his wife or mother, and mother refers to us, asking for a helmet, for a bulletproof vest, for the rifle gun, etc. And we were able to explain that when the person completes training, it will be provided with everything. And I remember the case was a woman who went to a shop and called me from there. She was trying to find a knife there because she told me, she says, he told me to buy a knife and binocular, and she tried to get my advice, and I could not provide advice because I was not aware of the specifications needed. That's why we have for every section introductory articles where we say, please keep calm. You should first ask your fighter, what is the position? Because if it's a tank operator, then a specific helmet is needed. If it works, if it's again machiner, then you need to find specific packs for the machine gun. So in our articles, we say, please ask what is precisely needed. And because it is very important to understand the precise conditions, weather conditions, what is the position, because National Guards need one type of uniform, naval forces need other types of uniforms. So everyone wants to save money, and it also helps to save a lot of time. So the situations are different. Some people try to earn money on the war. Have you faced such cases when people try to sell ammunition, equipment of poor quality at the increased prices? Yes, I have seen such situation. The product that was a quality product, but it was in 2 times more expensive than we can find on the market. And I know that the website will not be recommended. Yes, they provide quality products, but they are in 2 times more expensive. Of course, there's the items of poor quality. Some people want to earn money and they buy poor quality products at AliExpress, and there is small commission and they try to sell it. Of course, we will not recommend this as well, because we cannot save on people's life. We cannot, people cannot earn huge amounts of money on people's life. This is not ethical. That's why our task was recommend something quality at a good price. So we provided the range of prices from 2. And we also provide our recommendations and USDs in case of fluctuations with the current exchange. And that's why you can see a minimum price. If you can see that the price is less, then this is an imposter. For example, Catch 7. There are a lot of counterfeited products, and when people say us that they can find cat for $8, and we know that you can even in the United States can buy them in bulk at the minimum price of 25, and in Poland it could be up to $32, $35. And if the price is less, then someone sells counterfeit products or humanitarian aid, and this is another issue. And we have the upper threshold because it is also not recommended. There are the resources where you can find these items at a moderate price. We also have assessed the shops and those entities that sell goods, and so they don't earn on war. And sometimes they only try to cover their everyday expenditures. And as for the quality, you have issues with the uniform. Yes. As for shops, commerce, in Odesa, we have a lot of military shops in Odesa. And this is just business following the trend, and this is okay. As for the links that we provide on our website, can people find something cheaper? Of course, they can. But we have experience of buying products, big consignments at the warehouses of the UK, of the United States, and of course we could buy 50 sets of uniform for €100. And of course you cannot find such prices at an ordinary military shop. But we just monitor the situation, and we understand that a man can be mobilized, and he has his relatives, and they need support, and they can go to a shop to buy one piece of uniform, not without buying the whole wagon of uniform from the United Kingdom. So we also provide information about different shops. So you can always find lower prices, and this could be also a quality product. But there are some real situations that cannot allow you to buy some British Gore-Tex jacket, which is provided by the UK ministry. It is impossible to buy in Odessa, Ukraine, or in Kiev. And as for advice, I cannot say that you can go to Starakone, the fleet market, to buy some good products there, because the situation is changing. It was interesting for me to understand who tries to earn on the war. And when I see people selling a Chinese tourniquet for $4, I just cannot recommend that. Or just add that this is for training, or just throw it away because they are inefficient. And when this is difficult to differentiate between quality and poor and good quality tourniquet with the naked eye. And this is the most widespread issue that we've seen. And sometimes experienced people send us tourniquet, the whole consignment of tourniquets from Alaska. And we saw that was from China. And the person said it was like $7. The price was okay. But it is not needed. And today a doctor from one of the unit called me saying that he needs Chinese tourniquets for training. This is a trustworthy person. We know that this person will never give this such tourniquets to the fighters, the main tourniquets, and we accumulate these bad quality tourniquets, provide them to the doctors for training. And Stas can provide more information. He can see the difference, even at night, between the tourniquets of poor and bad quality. It is possible, but it is difficult to see on the website, because on the websites they can just publish the image of the cat tourniquet, and they add the note that this is cat type tourniquet. You can order that, and then you get some different poor quality item. That's why on our website we have a description of what people should focus on when they receive consignments in terms of packaging, and also the main characteristic is price, because people can see that this is $7, and they think that this is a good price, but this is not the fact. And in our office we have the whole exhibition of self-made tourniquets on 3D printers, etc. But this is handmade. You cannot test it in different conditions, how it will be used when it is wet with blood. Great that people try to do something, but the tourniquets is not the case. You should just better do drones, well drones, and test them. This is more efficient, but handmade tourniquets is a bad thing. And we had one organization, I'm not going to name it, they brought beautiful 3D tourniquets in beautiful packaging, and there was a note saying "God loves you." And I looked at that and understood that God does not love me if such tourniquets are provided. What people should pay attention to when they buy tourniquets, when it comes to specification: price, company. If it's not CAT or SIG or some other tested brands, and this information can be found on our website, just don't buy it. That's it. There is the list of other tourniquets like SAM, etc. Those who meet standards of the NATO, and they are certified accordingly, and those who prove to be efficient. And we receive feedback from our military. I can recommend SIG. I cannot recommend Dnipro of the first generation, but the second generation is okay. But sometimes you just think that you better pay more and buy something of better quality. Sometimes Dnipro of the second generation cannot be used for training because of metal parts, because the straps are cut by those metal elements. And then we have some specific framework for our website. Sometimes you can have an ideal perception of the world following the NATO standards, for example, for the first aid kit. But this should also meet the reality of the war. And not everything is needed for the military. We have some servicemen and servicewomen who have been fighting since 2014, always on the front line. And such military says that he doesn't need this nasal tube. And we can respect this experience, but I will put it anyway in our first aid kit, because we would like to meet the international standards. And I would like for the news provided to be realistic, not to have these gaps, because sometimes we study something at the university, and when we just get a job, they tell us, just forget that you learned at the university, you just need to retrain. But we want on our website to have items meeting NATO standards. And what percentage of the items published on your website is of the Ukrainian origin? It depends on the category. We have 9 categories. And when it comes to TechMed, then there we have 2 tourniquet brands produced in Ukraine, and all the rest are of foreign origin. When it comes to drones, All drones that we have are of modern production. And about the development of the website, we can now see new manufacturers of Ukrainian drones that produce FPV drones, and there is a mass production, and we can see them used by the military. And we should also publish this information on the website. As for the uniform, we have not provided recommendation as for Pixel. They are both Ukrainian and manufacturers and foreign manufacturers for people to be able to have a choice. And as for the uniform, we have a lot of different Ukrainian items for the bags, etc. And what about the quality? It is of the same quality as for the elements, textile. So they are the same specifications, and they are foreign and Ukrainian origin, and everything's fine. And we also provide information about when such items can be bought, so people can check in the United States, Europe, and Ukraine. And we also provide links to the shops. For example, it is not feasible for a person in the United States to buy siege tourniquets to be brought to that person and then to send them to us. A lot of people directly provide support because they are not reluctant to provide money, so they are more eager in buying something and sending, and we can provide links to different shops at different parts of the world. We also provide information about brand and prices, so there is the clear algorithms. And as for your experience, what is how much on average money is needed to equip a soldier? It depends on the position, on the place. We cannot say some average amount. We can provide information about categories, and for example, Stas can say the average price for the quality first aid kit. For example, just by the way, just need to remember it. It can be for 3,000 hryvnias, depending on a tourniquet, because the prices are really different. Up to 8,000, and that would be a good first aid kit. For example, first aid kits are provided. So first aid kits provided to all soldiers, but sometimes people do not use it because they understand that they need to return it. And I ask to take a picture of the first aid kit, and I can see that, for example, tourniquet or scissors are missing, and we just can send additional items. So we don't see any cases now to have the first aid kit from the scratch because it is provided. Yes, that phase of war is in the past when we need to provide everything to our guys on the front line. Nowadays, everyone receives quality uniform, gear, weapons, and other things that we've covered today. But then there are some personal wishes. For example, a person just don't want to use the trench candles, and they use, for example, some other gear. Or they don't like the poncho that they have. They want to have different ponchos for trenches. And so people just want to buy something additionally, like a gas burner, a poncho. And sometimes our servicemen, they just can lost something during the battle, or something can be destroyed after the missile or rocket attack. And it takes quite a long time because of the bureaucracy to get these items again. But they need these things right there, right now, and they just buy a sleeping bag or some poncho. But now there is no need to gather everything from the scratch. I'd like to emphasize the following for people not to stop donating. It is very difficult to find boots of a large size, or if a person is like around 2 meters in height, it is very difficult to find uniforms. And when I have a friend, he is a paramedic, and he had to leave in emergency, and his bag with all items were burnt by his fellow soldiers for the enemy not to get that. For example, when people are released from hospitals, they need new first aid kits. So we always need to add some parts to that which is provided. So when the person is firstly mobilized, please don't panic, because everything will be provided. If not, you will be able just to get what is needed according to the position of the mobilized person. But then there can be some gaps that should be closed. After fights, after battles, first aid kits are lost or destroyed, or people after hospitals need such things. That's why it is important to keep donating to help relatives. Please do not ignore money-raising campaigns. Even if you like a post, it will help to increase coverage. If you cannot donate, please repost a reliable campaign. It is very important because people say that they can be tired of war. And what about the military? The military is also tired. Volunteers are also tired. But I cannot understand how people can be tired of donating. For example, in the morning, don't drink coffee, just donate. You can drink water instead. And people have been saying lately that the government now says that everything is provided to the military. That's why there is no need to donating. This can be like situations when even the uniform is like damaged after a fight, or there can be some other situations when you use all items in your first aid kit. If you're wounded, everything is taken from a soldier. We had a situation with a guy who returned to us for a pants, and he said that for the doctors to save his legs, they just cut those pants. And he tried to ask them not to cut those pants. And of course, he was in shock, he was in panic. But of course, all the clothes, the uniform is taken from the person when they are wounded, because everything is just covered with blood. So that's why we need to substitute things. As for donating, people need to donate even more than it was in the past, because now our army is well equipped, but they need in big amounts the quality optics, the radio connection, drones, and also the spare parts for FPV drones. And it is needed every day. And there is a simple logic. Say, if there is no drone there, then we should use people. And it is really very dangerous. And this will not increase our efficiency. On the contrary, the efficiency is decreased. And but we should also need to remember that Russian volunteers, they have also activated. And the pace is really quick. They have finally woken up. They want to win in this war. And if we also want to win in this war, because everyone now speaks about victory, but if you want to be victorious, we need to be actively involved. And as for the cars, and we have recently bought 3 cars. The one is near our office. The next is taken at the crossing, and the third car is also full of fire extinguishers, and it has been sent today in the morning from Germany, and we hope to get it tomorrow in the morning. Every day, almost every day, the money that we get from people are spent for boats and engines. And just for you to understand why the state cannot cover that, when, for example, when it comes to infantry, it is not envisaged by the military bureaucracy to have boats for them. That's why we can buy it only using donations of people. And we bought a boat for 126th Brigade. And the enemy's drone tried to attack a guy on a boat who was trying to take the dead soldiers from there. And the guy was able to evacuate all the injured persons. That was a unique case. And when the guys sent to us the photos with the boat, thanking just with gratitude. And if I've seen such a thing in a film, I would have never believed that. Because the Russians also published this video saying that they killed that person, but that person was able to save his injured comrades. And this is again about where the quality boat could be bought. And we should remember about the bulletproof vest, about the weight, and that it is important to have the proper vest, not to drone. So boats, engines, vests, all this information will be published on the website. We are going to develop our website. And as for the TechMed, if there will be the SuperCat of the 10th generation, we will publish that with a different price. Thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you for your work. We will continue at 1 p.m. and we will discuss the tools how to counteract Russian kamikaze drones. Thank you.